What's up, everybody? It's Amanda Sage Nosa Stevens here for Esports Heaven, and with me I have Samurai. How is it going?
It's going really good. I'm enjoying the event here at Red Bull, and yeah, it's good times.
So, we just had our beautiful announcement of what's going on, of some stuff from Arcade Edition. Did it get you more hyped, or are you just kind of like a little cold?
Well, we see a lot of visuals in terms of new video gears, but what I'm looking forward to is the balance, to see if there's any changes to Akuma, maybe even Ryu. We saw the new V skill from both of them, so I'm pretty interested in that. So,
do you think that, I mean, Akuma seems to be in a fairly healthy place at the moment, but Ryu obviously is the eternal warrior is eternally hurting these days. What do you think Capcom could do though to kind of what do you think his biggest weakness is right now, and how do you think Capcom can alleviate it?
well, his changes were a bit much from Season 1 to Season 2, so maybe if they revert the changes back to what he was before. I've said this before, and I'll say it again, that he probably still won't be top 8, top 5. He'll just be strong enough to compete against the top tiers. So that's what I think.
You've had a very sort of long season that unfortunately didn't end with you making the Capcom making the Capcom Cup. One, are you planning on competing in the Last Chance qualifier?
Yes, that's my plan.
But when you have like a long season that potentially doesn't end the way you envision it, how do you reset for the next year?
Well, essentially, you go about the year learning and developing your strategies, developing your techniques and your mindset towards a certain character, and you bring that to the next year. So last year I played Ryu, this year I played Akuma, and it took me quite a while to adapt and to adjust. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same next year, but this time I'm more ready to change.
When you're training, how much of it is self-reflection? Like how much of your practice setup is like looking at those tough losses and trying to figure out what went wrong?
So it's very hard for me to go back and watch some of my matches, especially if I lost. But I have to do it. You have to go back and watch your losses and sort of understand how did you lose and why did you lose. And so I feel like a lot of it is doing that, but then also preparing and adjusting and making those tiny little minute details, those changes in your game plan to win the next time.
Usually in these interviews, somebody goes, "So Samurai, what is your strength?" But I'm gonna kind of put it on its head. What do you think is holding you back the most right now?
Right now, I think it's my ability to attack. My ability to attack is not strong enough compared to Tokido, compared to Punk. Their ability to attack is very good. I'm coming from a defensive standpoint, so I think that's what's holding me back. I actually did a lot of reflection last night and even today, and thought, why couldn't I win yesterday? It's because I would revert to a defensive style. So now my goal is to attack. Yeah.
How do you think you're gonna be able to fix that? Because when you have a defensive mindset, you're more waiting for opportunities than you're more looking for punishes than you are constantly looking to press an advantage. So what does it mean to you that you need to attack more?
So it's more of a psychological thing. It's like sort of like I've been studying a lot of sports psychology. So in this sense, because I'm resistant to attack, my defensive nature comes out. So now I need to put my defensive nature in the backseat and attack.
Do you? I guess because is fighting games your full-time job?
No, I'm a credit analyst.
How do you make time when you have a full-time job to still put in the proper lab hours, the proper practice time?
You really have to make a schedule for yourself. I recently did that after Canada Cup, because I went into Canada Cup really disorganized, and then I didn't really have a schedule. I was doing a lot of things at the time, working out, eating properly, and going to work and practicing as well. And so it's actually really important to create a schedule so that you're balanced and you commit as much time, appropriate time, to practice, to work, to everything else in your life.
All right. You were at one point sponsored by Winter Fox. What aspects of being with a team do you sort of kind of miss the most, if any?
Well, I can definitely travel more. Yeah.
I mean, that was the easy one, but like.
But I had a really good relationship with Gustavo and with my manager, and so that I kind of miss. But I can't wait to be sponsored once more and create that relationship again with another team.
Do you still talk to? I assume after Winter Fox let both of you go that you weren't just like, all right, peace, Gustavo.
No. Yeah, we're still good friends. I still talk to them.
It's been pretty insane for 801 Strider this year. Do you? Because if I mean everyone keeps reminding us that at one point he was considering retiring. What do you think has allowed him to kind of go on this like end of season surge?
Well, he definitely did travel a lot, and you can sort of see his drive, his passion to qualify. And you saw it when he did qualify at Canada Cup. I mean, he flexed and he jumped up and down. It was pretty funny. But no, like he really worked hard for it, and he did the same thing in Street Fighter 4, and he did qualify then. And for season 1, his confidence wasn't as high because his character choice wasn't the best for him. Yes. But once he found Laura and he really understood the game more and more, and he's traveled more, his confidence grew, and we saw his results at the end.
This seems to be a very good year for fighting games. There's been a lot of really crazy finals, both with like Tekken. Marvel vs. Capcom is a pretty interesting game to watch. We're having Dragon Ball FighterZ come out soon. Are you a You're not a multi-game player, really, are you?
Yes, I actually played Marvel 3 and also Street Fighter 4 back then. I did compete in both, but of course, towards the end of it, one suffered and the other prospered. So I had to really sort of choose and pick which one I want to continue with. Right now, I'm focusing on Street Fighter 5, but we'll see. I'm not sure. I'm still dabbling with a little bit with MVCI a little bit. So, and of there's of course DBC fighters. So that's
are you excited? Are you gonna be playing it?
It looks really beautiful. But we'll see.
Are you a Dragon Ball fan at all?
I am. I'm not like I haven't been watching it, but I used to watch when I was a little kid, and so yeah, I gotta play Trunks. It just looks really beautiful. It looks really nice.
All right. Speaking of Marvel, I know that you're not actively competing it, but from an outsider perspective, and also as a competitor, the Battle for Stones is a very interesting tournament. It's more of like a show match in a way than it is a tournament. Do you kind of wish that there were more events like that had? I mean, I don't want to call it gimmicks because people apply that as like a very negative word, but do you wish that there was more sort of, I guess, personality, sort of more flavor? Because like even something like CEO with like the ring, like, do you wish that there was more events like that?
CEO is a very particular event that has its own theme. Yeah. The wrestling theme. In terms of MVCI's Battle of the Stone, it's different, of course, and I'm open for it. But I'd rather have a tournament where the players show up, they compete, and it's the highest level. There shouldn't be any weird element to alter the rules of the game. It's actually
you don't want to like play somebody in Street Fighter 5 where they get to remap your buttons before the match,
or they get their first hit. That's too much. That's way too much. So yeah, I think it's interesting, but for Street Fighter's sake, I think it's better to just have it pretty standard.
Is there any character that you're hoping shows up in Arcade Edition that you think the roster's lacking?
I do want Sagat because
my boy Blanca's been missing and nobody cares.
well, the reason why I want Sagat is because I still want to throw more fireballs, and so fireballs in this game are very hard, very very hard. And so you have characters like Gal and Akuma, Ryu and Ken that are throwing fireballs, Chun-Li, but you don't really see it that much. You see a lot of limbs. Yeah. So I want to see some fireball games. Yeah.
Oh man, nobody wants my boy Blanca. He just sits lonely in the corner, forgotten by time. I guess my last question for you is, you've been playing for a while. What keeps you motivated to keep competing? Especially when you don't have a season that has like very strong finishes.
For me personally, there's been so many good things coming out of fighting games for me. There's so many positives. I've met a lot of great people through fighting games. I've got my job because of fighting games. It's just so many positive things, and I feel like for me, I want to continue it and see how far it goes. It's hard to say because when you have such a weird year like this one, where you're doing really well, then all of a sudden it's like just it kind of crashes and burns. You lose a lot of motivation. But something inside me wants to continue to keep fighting to get that number one spot and win, make that big win. That's just me. You know, I want to see how far I can do it. So.
And where can everybody find you on the interweb? You know, watch your streams, all that stuff.
So I haven't been streaming too much, but you can follow me on Twitch at xsk_samurai or Samurai FGC on Twitter. I've been really busy, but you'll see me at the Last Chance qualifier for Capcom Cup.
Okay.
So yeah.
And everybody, you know that you can follow me on Twitter at SageGnosis. Samurai, thank you so much for this interview. And have a good day.